Today I would like to invite you to listen to the Dhammapada of the Buddha Shakyamuni. 152 verses from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel Thien Thai in the USA. The man of little learning grows old like the ox. His muscles grow, his wisdom grows not. The Blessed One spoke this verse to awaken the mind to the difference between mere physical growth and true development of wisdom. Long ago, there was a young farmer who labored daily in the fields. His muscles became strong, his body robust, and his endurance remarkable, yet he remained attached to habits of ignorance, anger, and craving. He observed the work of the oxen, pulling plows, carrying heavy loads, and thought that his own strength made him powerful and secure. Yet the elders of the village saw that, despite his muscular frame, his understanding of life was narrow, and he failed to cultivate insight or ethical conduct. One day, a wandering monk visited the village and observed the young farmer. The monk gently asked him, "What do you cultivate in your life besides strength of body?" The farmer thought for a moment and realized that he had spent his days working, training his body, but had neglected the mind. His habits of greed, attachment, and irritation were unchanged. The monk explained that just as muscles grow through labor, so too must wisdom grow through study, reflection, and practice. Strength of body without cultivation of virtue, concentration, and insight is like an ox carrying burdens. It performs work, yet does not transcend suffering. The young farmer began to reflect on his life. He observed that each day, while his body grew stronger, his mind remained entangled in desire and ignorance. He felt the pull of anger, the sting of jealousy, and the restlessness of craving. Through this reflection, he began to understand that the cultivation of the mind is more precious than the growth of muscle, that patience, compassion, and mindfulness are the true strength of a human being. He began to learn from the good, those who practiced virtue, mindfulness, and insight, observing their conduct, listening to their words, and emulating their wisdom. With diligence, he practiced restraint, ethical behavior, and meditation. He noticed that as his mind calmed, his clarity increased, his patience grew, and his understanding of life deepened. Strength of body alone could not protect him from suffering, but wisdom, once cultivated, became a shelter in the storms of life. The monk reminded him that humans differ from animals not by muscle alone, but by the capacity to cultivate insight and virtue. The farmer reflected on this truth and saw that those who live only for the body, like the ox, toil tirelessly yet remain blind to the causes of suffering and the path to liberation. True growth requires attention to the mind, development of discernment, and practice of compassion. Day by day, the farmer trained his awareness, observing each thought and emotion without attachment or aversion. He began to see the impermanence of bodily strength, the passing of youth, and the inevitability of old age and decay. These observations strengthened his resolve to cultivate wisdom. Recognizing that physical vigor alone cannot prevent suffering or bring lasting peace, he practiced ethical conduct, not merely out of duty, but as a foundation for clarity, compassion, and insight. Anger softened, greed loosened, and patience blossomed. He realized that the body is a tool for practice, a vehicle for the cultivation of the mind, but it is the mind that determines the quality of life. Strength of muscle without cultivation of wisdom leaves one bound by craving, ignorance, and fear, whereas cultivation of the mind brings clarity. freedom, and enduring happiness. The young farmer observed the world around him and saw many like himself, strong in body but weak in insight, laboring tirelessly yet blind to the impermanence of life and the importance of virtue. He learned to value the Dhamma above physical ability, seeing that knowledge, mindfulness, and compassion are treasures that endure beyond youth, strength, and even life itself. In daily activities, he integrated this awareness, turning each moment of work, speech, and thought into practice. Muscles and body strength supported labor and sustenance, yet the mind became the focus of true cultivation. He practiced mindfulness of actions, observing the arising and passing of desires, irritations, and attachments. Wisdom began to grow, patience strengthened, and compassion extended naturally to all beings. The realization deepened that the man who cultivates only the body grows old like the ox, bound to toil and impermanence, whereas the one who cultivates mind and heart attains clarity, freedom, and insight. He came to understand that physical training without mental cultivation leaves life incomplete, subject to suffering and blind to the causes of happiness. By cultivating virtue, concentration, and insight, he could transform ordinary labor, ordinary life, and ordinary experience into opportunities for awakening, benefiting himself and others. Strength of body is temporary, yet the growth of wisdom, ethical conduct, and compassion brings enduring benefit, transcending aging, loss, and death. The farmer, now a practitioner, became a living example of this truth, embodying mindfulness, patience, and understanding in every activity, sharing insight with others, and demonstrating that true strength is the strength of a cultivated mind. Each day, each breath, each action became a practice, a cultivation of insight, and a spreading of virtue. He realized that muscle alone cannot save from suffering, but wisdom, patience, and ethical conduct protect the mind and heart, providing clarity, peace, and enduring happiness. By following the teachings of the good, practicing diligently, and observing the impermanence of bodily strength, he transformed his life from toil without insight to mindful practice, turning every ordinary moment into the cultivation of timeless wisdom and compassion. Thus, the man of little learning grows old like the ox, but the one who cultivates wisdom grows in freedom, peace, and enduring understanding, benefiting self and all beings across time. The young farmer, having awakened to the teaching of the Blessed One, continued to observe his life and the lives of those around him, seeing clearly the distinction between the cultivation of the body and the cultivation of the mind. He noticed many villagers, strong and capable, who worked tirelessly in the fields, their muscles firm and their endurance remarkable, yet whose hearts were restless, whose minds were clouded with anger, jealousy, and craving. They worked for wealth, for recognition, for pleasure, yet their mental burdens were heavy. He understood that physical strength alone could not protect them from suffering, and that even the mightiest of bodies are subject to aging, illness, and death. He reflected on the futility of pride in muscle and beauty, noting that the ox, no matter how strong, bears its burdens without understanding, without choice, and without liberation. The farmer realized that the man who cultivates only the body follows the same path, bound to toil, limited by circumstance, and blind to the deeper truths of existence. With this understanding, he turned his attention to the cultivation of wisdom. He began to study the teachings of the Buddha, learning about impermanence, suffering, and non-self. He practiced mindfulness, observing each thought, sensation, and emotion as it arose, learning to let go of attachments and aversions. He saw that ethical conduct was not merely a social obligation, but the foundation for clarity and peace, providing stability to the mind even as the body labored and aged. The young farmer realized that the cultivation of wisdom transforms ordinary life into a continuous practice. Each moment of labor became an opportunity to observe impermanence, each encounter a chance to practice compassion, each thought a field for insight. Whereas before he had seen only toil, sweat, and fatigue, he now saw practice, growth, and awakening. Strength of body supported his life, but strength of mind and heart supported liberation. As he deepened his practice, the farmer observed changes within himself. Patience grew in the face of irritation, compassion blossomed toward those who caused harm, and understanding arose in moments of difficulty. He saw that the burdens of life, though still present, no longer bound him. His muscles might be strong, but it was his cultivated mind that brought freedom, clarity, and enduring peace. He began to teach others in the village, sharing the insights he had gained. He demonstrated through action and example that strength alone does not prevent suffering, and that true growth comes from cultivating wisdom, ethical conduct, and compassion. The villagers, seeing the transformation in him, became curious and sought guidance. Through gentle instruction and example, he helped them to turn inward, to observe their minds, to practice restraint, and to cultivate insight. The farmer realized that sharing wisdom multiplies its benefits, allowing the Dhamma to flourish beyond oneself and reach countless beings. Reflecting further, he saw that even long life, robust health, and physical capability do not guarantee understanding or freedom. Many grow old, strong in body, yet blind to the causes of suffering and ignorant of the path to liberation. Like the ox, they bear the burdens of life without insight, unaware of the impermanence of pleasure, the instability of wealth, and the inevitability of decay. By contrast, those who cultivate the mind grow in wisdom, patience, and compassion, developing strength that cannot be taken away, strength that transcends aging, sickness, and death. This reflection deepened his determination to continue practicing, to use every day, every breath, and every interaction as an opportunity to strengthen insight and virtue. He saw the body not as an end, but as a tool, supporting the cultivation of the mind, enabling action in the world, and serving the practice of the Dhamma. Each step in the field, each movement in labor, became infused with mindfulness, transforming ordinary activity into sacred practice. Through this integration of wisdom and work, the farmer experienced a profound peace and clarity. He saw that life, though impermanent and filled with challenges, is also a precious opportunity to cultivate the qualities that endure. Strength of muscle may fade, but the strength of the mind, nurtured through virtue, insight, and compassion, grows, bringing liberation and benefit to oneself and all beings. The teaching of the Blessed One became a living guide, shaping his daily life, refining his understanding, and inspiring him to awaken in each moment. Through diligence, patience, and continuous practice, he realized that the man of little learning grows old like the ox, bound by physical strength yet limited in freedom, whereas the one who cultivates wisdom matures in understanding, ethical conduct, and compassion, attaining a richness of mind that transcends time, aging, and impermanence. The young farmer, now fully aware of the Blessed One's teaching, continued to deepen his reflection on the distinction between physical strength and the cultivation of wisdom. He saw clearly that the growth of muscle and endurance alone does not protect one from the inevitable sufferings of life. The ox plows, bears burdens, and grows strong, yet it cannot transcend the cycles of hardship, hunger, or exhaustion. In the same way, a person who strengthens only the body, who trains muscles, endurance, and outward capability, remains bound by craving, ignorance, and habitual patterns of mind. Such a one may accomplish much in the world, may appear impressive to others, yet the mind remains untrained, restless, and unfree. The farmer understood that true human potential lies not merely in the development of flesh, but in the cultivation of mind and heart. Strength of body is fleeting. It succumbs to aging, illness, and decay. Strength of mind, however, nurtured through ethical conduct, meditation, and insight, brings freedom, peace, and clarity that no passing circumstance can take away. As he observed his own life, he recognized times when anger, pride, and attachment had guided his actions, even while his body labored tirelessly. He began to see that the real mastery comes not from lifting heavy loads, plowing the fields, or enduring fatigue, but from training the mind to remain steady, gentle, and compassionate in all situations. In the early mornings, while tending the soil, he reflected upon the teachings he had received, considering how each movement, each breath, each step could become an opportunity to cultivate patience, mindfulness, and insight. He observed sensations arising in the body, fatigue, soreness, strength, and trained the mind to remain aware, unreactive, and clear. Even as the body toiled, the mind became a field of practice. He saw that ethical conduct is like a guiding rope, leading the mind away from destructive patterns and toward clarity. Speech, thought, and action, when grounded in virtue, produce harmony and understanding, transforming ordinary life into the cultivation of the Dhamma. The young farmer reflected on the lives of others in the village, observing those who had spent their lives strengthening their bodies but had neglected the mind. They grew old, burdened by resentment, craving, and ignorance, even as their muscles remained strong. He realized that external accomplishments and physical prowess cannot shield one from suffering, cannot prevent aging, sickness, or death, and cannot bring true happiness. By contrast, he witnessed the impact of the good, those who practiced virtue, mindfulness, and insight. Though their bodies aged, their minds remained steady, clear, and compassionate. Their speech guided others, their presence inspired, and their conduct reflected the imperishable qualities of the Dhamma. The farmer recognized that cultivating wisdom is the foundation of enduring happiness, peace, and freedom. Insight into the impermanence of the body and the world, combined with ethical living, patience, and compassion, produces a strength that does not fade. Physical strength supports life, yet wisdom supports liberation. Each day became a sacred opportunity for practice. Plowing the fields, carrying loads, walking the path, speaking with others. Every moment became infused with mindfulness, reflection, and ethical awareness. He observed the arising of desire, aversion, and delusion within himself and responded with patience, understanding, and restraint. In this way, each ordinary action became a step on the path, transforming labor into practice, strength into mindfulness, and effort into insight. Through continuous reflection, he came to embody the teaching fully. The man of little learning grows old like the ox, bound to toil and physical labor, while the one who cultivates wisdom matures in understanding, compassion, and ethical conduct, transcending the limitations of the body. The farmer shared this insight with others, gently guiding them to observe their minds, to reflect on impermanence, and to cultivate wisdom and virtue. He taught that true strength is the strength of the mind and heart, that liberation is found not in muscle, but in clarity, compassion, and understanding. Those who heard him began to practice mindfulness, ethical conduct, and reflection, transforming their own lives and spreading the benefits of the Dhamma. As he continued to cultivate virtue, wisdom, and compassion, the farmer realized that the cultivation of the mind is the true work of a human life. Physical prowess fades, yet insight, ethical conduct, and compassionate action endure. This awareness brought him profound peace, freedom from anxiety, and a deep joy that surpasses the fleeting pleasures of the body. Each day, he observed the mind, trained the heart, and acted with clarity, gentleness, and understanding. By embodying the Dhamma, he became a living example of the teaching. Strength of body alone cannot lead to freedom, yet the cultivation of wisdom and virtue brings clarity, liberation, and enduring benefit to self and others. Life, though fleeting and subject to change, became a sacred opportunity to cultivate qualities that grow not old. Through mindfulness, ethical conduct, and insight, he shared this treasure with others, helping them awaken to the impermanence of the body and the enduring power of wisdom. Strength of the mind, cultivated through practice, patience, and compassion, surpasses the limitations of the body, transcending suffering, aging, and death. Thus, the teaching of the Blessed One became fully alive in the farmer's life, guiding every thought, word, and action, illuminating the path of freedom and revealing the timeless nature of the Dhamma among the good. Thank you for watching my video. Namo Amitba. I wish to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your time.